there, how are you guys today? This is episode 9 of My Crooked Little House, and my name is Sashka. I can be found everywhere, everywhere being Twitter, Ravelry, and Instagram as SashkaKnits. And we have a little group called My Crooked Little House on Ravelry, so come and join the group. I'd like to say it's getting a little more active. I'm getting a little more active in the group, so I hope everyone else will be too. So I'm posting pictures of our adventure in the group, and people are looking at the pictures, so I hope you're enjoying them. And so anyway, come on and join us. Today is Sunday, October 18th, so it's been a little bit over a week since I last podcast. Last time I was outside and I was at Ketchum, Idaho. This week we are in Logan, Utah. I am not outside. It's a little bit overcast. Last night it rained, and from all the black clouds that we saw when we were driving in, it looked like there was going to be a storm. People were setting up cameras and everything to watch, so it's likely there might have been a lightning storm, but we missed it. We are in absolutely gorgeous little campsite, nestled right down by the river, which my husband tells me is called the Beaver River, which also tells me that we probably don't want to drink the water from it, but it is so pretty. It has lots of little rocks and what do you call them, riffles, so it has such a pretty noise, just lulls you to sleep at night. So today I'm wearing my Exploration Station shawl, designed by Stephen West. I knit this all out of yarn that I bought from Ancient Arts while I was at Olds in June. So this was a very interesting shawl to knit. I learned a lot of techniques, and I love it. I wear it all the time, usually like in the mornings or the evenings here in the trailer. So anyway, I've got my notes, and that's what, if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. And so last weekend we were still in Ketchum, and just going to spend a few minutes talking about the trailing of the sheep. On the Friday of the trailing of the sheep, we went to a talk which was about the history of sheep ranching in the U.S., and I learned a lot about that. It was very interesting. Two gentlemen, I forget their names, were speaking, and so they both, one was talking about his family's history, and another was talking about like the actual history in the U.S., like, and how sheep came to the U.S., and they came through two different routes. The Spanish. Where else did they come from, honey? The Spanish, and he's shrugging his shoulders. So we've both. He has it in his notes, but anyway, they came from the East, and they came from the Spanish. So anyway, they got here in two different routes. So that was on Friday, and then Friday late afternoon they had what they called sheep tastings, and about 10 restaurants each had made little tastings, so little things off their menus, and you could walk up to the restaurants and then you get a little tasting, a lamb tasting, and they were so good. So we went to the ones that didn't have like huge long lineups, and we ended up with, I think, 4 tastings. We went to one that didn't look like it had a long lineup on the outside, but on the inside it sneaks through the whole restaurant and up and down. They were all really, really good. My favorite was the first one, and it was, I think, a Peruvian dish. It was like a little bit spicy, and it had couscous, however you say that, in it. And they gave us wine. It was really, really good. Saturday was the Folklife Fair, which was in Haley, which is about 12 miles away from Ketchum. And so at the fair they had entertainment, so dancing from groups representing countries that sheep were a strong cultural element. So Peru, Latin America, Poland was represented, Basque, Spain, like it was just, and then of course here, and Highland dancing, so Scotland. It was amazing. It was so much fun. So there's music all day long. There's music in the air. They had a tent set up, and they had vendors. All of the vendors were local, so everything they were selling was made from their sheep, and either they made it or they had it made. It was just so much fun. We watched sheep shearing, which I've never seen before. And those guys are really fast. And then of course there was food, which was delicious. So we had an absolutely fabulous day there. And then on Saturday was the trailing of the sheep. So what that is it's not a reenactment, it's actual. So the sheep are actually moved from their winter grazing grounds to their summer grazing grounds to the winter areas where they're going to be pastured, so it's warmer and it's easier for them to find food. So they're moved through Ketchum right down the main street. So they make a parade of it, and they have all the dancers and cowboys and everything in front. And then the sheep are moved through the town. And this year it was kind of funny because 4 sheep escaped, and they kind of went backwards, and they were jumping over people and running down side streets. And so it was really kind of funny. And then we followed the sheep out a ways and then walked back. So it was really, really interesting. So we stayed in Ketchum until Thursday because we were really enjoying it there. We went to the Ernest Hemingway Memorial and his gravesite, and then we decided it was time to move on. So we went to the Craters of the Moon National Monument, which was really great. It had a little drive. You drive through the whole monument, and I think there's like 25 or 26 cinder cones, old volcanoes. So some of these had erupted tens of thousands of years ago. You can still see the lava flows. It was amazing. You really felt young to be there, actually. So I'll have photos of both of those, the Trailing of the Sheep and the Craters of the Moon, in the group, in their own threads. So right now, like I said, we're in Logan, Utah. Where we are, it seems to be a recreation area. It's just off Highway 89. There's lots of hiking trails and biking trails. We see people rock climbing on these big rock faces. There's picnic areas. We had hoped to go bike riding today, but it's quite cool, and it rained last night, so my bike seat got really wet. So if I go out bike riding today, I'm going to have to put a plastic bag over my bike seat. Anyway, that's where we're at right now. So keep you posted on our next route. So I have no finished objects to show you, and I've made not a lot of progress on anything. On my children's design, I finished the neck treatment, and I started on a sleeve, so I'm not going to show you that because really hasn't changed very much. On my willow, the shawl, I only did about 8 rows, so hasn't changed much either, so I'm not going to show you that. And I did work on the second sock of my vertically stranded socks by Lori Lee Beltman, so I will show you this. So I've just finished one repeat, and I'm on to my second repeat here. So, and these are really nice to knit in the car. It's actually quite easy, and there's not a lot of thinking about it. So again, I will post the yarn I'm using in to Ravelry notes, but I'm doing these on 2 circular needles. I don't know if I've told you that before. So this is my preferred method of knitting socks right now. I have been working on a design. So my swatch is here. So I don't think you can see much of it. It's mostly stockinette, and then I've got like a little texture here on the bottom. So this design was specifically asked for by my daughter and inspired by her. So I've taken some artistic liberties with her request, and I've designed this for her. So I'm using Merino Blend DK Superwash Wool. This is from King Cole, which I ordered from Daramore's in the UK. This is really nice. Even though it's superwash, it's a really sticky wool. And I will be doing, the yoke will have some steeking in it, like it's a cardigan, but I will be doing the yoke in the round because it's going to have some color work. So I'm using these 3 colors, slate blue, navy blue, and silver, and a tiny bit of white. And I like the way it feels. It's not really rustic, but it's not really slippery either. It's got a really nice feel to it. It's not itchy at all. It feels like a really good wool. So I think she'll be very happy with it. It's going to be nice and warm. She specifically requested a cardigan. So I'm very excited about this one. I'm knitting the sample in her size. So she's just a teeny bit smaller than me, so probably I will model the design before I send it off to her. So I've just started knitting this, but it's not anything to show, so I just thought I would show you these. So that's all. I do also have another design, which is, actually it's 3 designs, but they're related. And this is really special to me, and I want to talk about it for a few minutes. So these are 3 designs that are related, and I'm knitting them for my nieces. I have 3 nieces who are 14 years old. They're triplets. They are my sister's daughters. Now my sister passed away from cancer 8 years ago. And this year, some very close friends of ours lost 2 parents to cancer, very close together. And my husband's brother-in-law lost 1 parent to cancer, and another one will very soon. So it just seems that it's been brought up into our minds. And I don't think that there's anybody who has not been affected by cancer, or that they don't know someone who's been affected by cancer. This summer I had an opportunity to spend quite a bit of time with my nieces, and they are all different. They are all wonderful. Every single one of them has something in them that reminds me of my sister. And when they're all together, it's like I'm with my sister. And it was a very emotional time for me because all through our, I'm not going to say our childhood because we were inseparable then, but later on when we grew up, because we were so close in age, I think that was the problem. I don't know what, but we did not get along. And we didn't have a chance in our adulthood to reconcile before she passed away. And I think it's because when she got sick, we really didn't know how or what to do about it. And so I carry that with me all the time. And, you know, even though I talk to her, you know, in my mind and in my prayers, I find it really difficult. But anyway, I really felt that I made a lot of headway with my feelings when I spent time in Ontario this past summer with my nieces. And I've decided to design these mitts. So there's going to be 3 different mitts, one for each of them, and I'm going to sell them together in a set for a reasonable price for the 3. And all the proceeds, so all the profits from the sales are going to go to cancer research. And so, and in perpetuity, not just for these 2 weeks or whatever, so in perpetuity. And I'll just, every now and again just post how much that is on the pattern page. So I'm just going to let you see the yarn that I chose for them. So I asked them their favorite colors, and I hope that I've chosen some yarn that they're going to like. So I was actually surprised by their choices. So these are Bergère de France Chinelon. So I'll tell you, this is 56% acrylic, 30% wool, 10% alpaca, and 4% viscose. So this first color is called Pale Rose. So one of my nieces, her favorite color is Pale Pink. So that's the first color. This one is called Cyan. So these are all really tweedy, really pretty tweedy colors. So one of my nieces was turquoise, and one was lime green, and this one is called Anise. So that's a project that I've just started charting, and will be next up on my needle, so I'm really excited about that. So watch for that, and I'm really hoping that everyone will support my small little cause, or supporting the cause by purchasing the pattern. Okay. Next, on a happier note, does everyone remember Phyllis, the super ugly cone of yarn that I got for 25 cents at a thrift store? Well, I skeined her off into, what do you call these things again? Balls. And I got 900 yards, or 900 grams, I'm sorry, of these. And it's really obvious that it's not anything natural. So I snipped off a little bit of this and put it in a bowl with some Kool-Aid drops, and I left it there for half an hour, and it was bright red, and I thought, oh good, it's nylon, and I can dye it and use it in a weaving project. Well, it rinsed right out, so obviously it's not. So I've come to the conclusion, after very careful scientific experimentation, that this is yak, acrylic. So I will be washing this and using it in a weaving project. So I briefly toyed with the idea of using this as a giveaway, and then I decided nobody would enter to win it. So it's definitely going to go into a weaving project. So here is, I've got quite a lot of this, and I think I might actually mail it home so I don't have to cart it around the countryside. And spinning. So I showed you a ball of fluff that I had dyed myself, and I spun it into a gradient, and the singles were gorgeous, and I'm like, oh wow. And then I decided I was going to Navajo ply it. Well, I have not done that for a long time, and I had a fail. In fact, it actually started out okay, not too bad, and then it got out of hand. drastically out of hand. Look at these. And then this happened. Can you see that? Can you hold that in front of the camera, honey? Okay, he's not going to hold it in front of the camera. It got drastically out of hand. I'll take a picture of this. So finally I figured out what I was doing to cause these ball things. But then, is this overspun a little bit? It's like a spring. So I persevered, and I have made this. It looks normal in the skein. Normal, slightly normal. Anyway, I'm going to go with art yarn at this point. It's not knittable, I don't think. It's going to be woven. It's got knots, eyelashes. It's got overspun bits. It does have some bits that are not overspun. It's got these ball things. Yes, there are ball things. It's not. I think it'll be great in a weaving project. And there's about 60 meters here. So there's not enough to do any knitting with it anyway. But I was quite happy to be spinning on it. So I'll take some close-up photos of these and put them in the group, and you can laugh at them. So that's all I have to show you except for my acquisitions from the Folklife Fair. The first thing I got was this. This gentleman tried to tell me this was from a zebra sheep. Okay, even I know there's no such thing as a zebra sheep. This is targi, and I've never spun with targi. And I got this, so it's 4 ounces of roving. And it's targi with some targi cross and a little bit of Suffolk. From Nelson Woolworks in Cedar City, Utah. So I'm excited to start that. It's really springy. So I got that. Then I got this mohair, soft and pink. Again, so these are all from their own animals, and they've so this one is from goats, so it's a mohair, Sage Flower Gardens, homegrown, hand spun. So this isn't spun, she's just carded it. So it's from her own goats, and it's about 1 ounce of mohair. Something else I've never spun. And then I really wanted some rambouillet. So this is from Montana. So she also sells hand-dyed yarn. This is hand-painted cone top, ravenridgefiber.com, and this is the huckleberry colorway, which I couldn't resist because it's purple and red, and it's called huckleberry. So 4 ounces of this. Then I got some rambouillet yarn. So this was commercially spun from her own sheep and then dyed with natural dyes. So she used choke cherries. And this is from Kim Conover Nye from U&I Fibers. And there's 375 yards in 100 grams. And it's quite soft. So I think this will be a cowl. She says it does knit up quite pilly, so something that, you know, doesn't get a lot of rubbing or use. And then the last thing I have is a bat, an art bat. So this is about 2 ounces of merino, and she's got this is like little nubs of silk, and she's got, looks like some icicle in here. It's got red and yellow and brown. So this is going to be the very next thing I start spinning. Probably later today. Anyway, so those are all the things that I got at the Folklife Fair. Like, I don't have a whole bunch of stuff already with me to do. But anyway, so I'm going to say goodbye for this week, or for this time, and happy travels, safe travels, happy knitting, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.